I'm Leah and welcome to my channel for all of you who are new, and welcome back for all of you who've watched at least one of my videos before. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I would also like to extend an invitation to you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below. Alright, so let's get down to what you're here for. A recap of my last relaxer stretch, and then also a recap of my relaxer touch-up, which actually happened yesterday as of when I'm recording this video. Now, I do want to give you, before I get to the recap, a quick update as to some of the things that I was doing during my relaxer stretch, which actually was 11 weeks. Typically I go 12 weeks, but with the pandemic and other things, my timing has just been off for all of my touch-ups this year for the most part, except I think the first one. I don't know, I can't remember, but at least for most of them this year. And so I went 11 weeks, and during my last relaxer stretch, I did a few things differently than I had been during my last stretches. Also than even I planned to do. Just some things just started to happen with my hair that I just decided, let's change some things up and see what happens. So the things that I did was I slowly started to add more protein back into my hair regimen. And I know I've been trying to stay away from protein because I had an issue with getting too much protein on my hair, but I realized I don't have hardly any except for a few products with protein in my hair regimen, and you need protein for your hair to help it be nice and strong. And also when you have relaxed hair and then your hair is high porosity, it's just like, oh, you need more protein. So I've started to incorporate it back into my hair regimen slowly by using products that have small amounts of protein in them, and I know they've got small amounts because the protein's lower into the ingredient list. And I even did a wash day or two where a lot of the products that I used had protein ingredients, and I haven't had any issues, but I'm not going to do those types of wash days every time. They're just going to be every now and again. As you can see, I'm looking at my phone just because I wrote some notes. I wanted to remember everything that happened during this relaxer stretch so I could tell you guys. Another thing that I did, which was part of incorporating protein into my hair regimen, was I tried out the Tresemme Keratin Conditioner and have used it as a pre-poo at least one time, and I really like the results. So that's something that is going to end up being in more of my pre-poos, whether I use it as the pre-poo by itself or I mix it with another conditioner that's more moisturizing. I have also started participating in the Hairlicious Castor Oil Challenge at what's called the ultimate level. So I'm supposed to be applying castor oil to my scalp, massaging it in every other day, and then also adding it to my deep conditioner. I've actually gone ultimate, which is not a real level, but one I made up, which is basically me applying and massaging it every single day, and then also applying the Jamaican, or adding the Jamaican black castor oil to my pre-poos in addition to my deep conditioner. I also started to do a couple of things to help with moisture issues. As you can kind of see, my ends sometimes look a little frizzy and they can be dry, and I was starting to see little pieces breaking off, and I was like, we've got to have some length retention happen here, so then that way I can grow out this breakage and get a nice cut. And what I started to do were two things. One was to baggy my ends pretty much every single night. I know I did a video about bagging where I said you should only baggy your ends 2 or 3 times a week, but I remembered there are a few relaxed hair ladies that I follow. One I think is actually, she's gone back to natural, that would baggy their ends pretty much almost every single night, and they had no issues. So I was like, let's try it at least for a week and see how it goes. And then it ended up being 2 weeks, and then it ended up being 3 weeks, and now this might end up being the 4th week, so we'll see. But pretty much I've been doing that where I've been bagging my ends every single night except the nights prior to when I'm like washing my hair, or I'm co-washing my hair, which is something that I've reincorporated back into my hair regimen. I feel like it was good for me deeper in my relaxer stretch. I don't know that I'll need to do it for like the first 6 or 7 or 8 weeks after this touch-up, but I feel like as I get closer to my next touch-up date, I'll probably start co-washing again, just because I know the more new growth I have on my head, it's pretty thick, and so it's hard for the oils to start traveling down my hair, and the more things I do to add moisture to my hair, the better it is. A couple other things that I did during this relaxed stretch was I tried out a new hair mask. It's from TGIN. It's not new for TGIN, but it's new for me. It's their Miracle RepaiRx Deep Hydrating Hair Mask. I actually did a video about it, so you can see all about it there. I'll link it down below. And then the last thing two more things that I did. One is that I started using more direct heat on my hair. I had been trying to stay away from direct heat and was roller setting my hair, but I found, particularly as I got further into my stretch, it was just hard for me to get a smooth result from roller setting. So I started using the Revlon, I think it's the One Step Volumizer, is what don't quote me that that's the name of it. I'll put the name down here on the screen below, but I started using that for the last few weeks of my stretch, and my hair turned out looking pretty nice and as smooth as it possibly could. And I'll probably use that every now and again going forward. And then the last thing that I did was I was back on using hair vitamins. I have been using them earlier, like last year, I think it was, and I ran out. Because I got the bottles for $5, I didn't want to pay full price for them, so I stopped using them until I could get them on sale, and I'm not going to wait for another sale again. I'm just going to buy and pay full price because I notice that my scalp and my hair just look and feel so much better when I am using them, in addition to all the other things that are part of my hair regimen. So those are all the things I did and started using during my last relaxer stretch. And all of that really did help my hair start to look and feel more moisturized and smooth, or at least smoother, particularly during the second half of my relaxer stretch. I did, as I sort of alluded to, had some issues with some breakage on my ends. I was noticing little bits of hair here, every now and again on my countertop. So I did some things to try to help stop that, and I haven't been having that issue since. I can't remember exactly when it happened, but at some point during my relaxer stretch, I was having some issues with my scalp where it was flaking, and I can't remember if it was the week before or the week of, but it was somewhere around the start of the castor oil challenge that I'm participating in. And using the castor oil more regularly on my scalp really helped with the scaling, the flaking, and the itching that I was experiencing. Okay, so let's get to the actual appointment now for my hair, for the relaxer touch-up. Leading up to that day, the week prior, I had clarified my hair, deep conditioned. I was doing my Jamaican black castor oil, massaging every night. I was bagging my ends. I was moisturizing and sealing. I was doing all of this stuff, and I felt like my hair was in a pretty good place. So I was like, okay, hopefully my stylist thinks so too. If so, I feel like my hair is on the right track. My stylist confirmed my thoughts as she was going through my hair to like base my scalp. She was like, oh, your hair feels nice and moisturized, more moisturized than it did before. Like, what have you been using? What have you been doing? I told her some of the stuff that I've been doing, and she was like, keep doing it because your hair is feeling great. So I think we're kind of like on the right track. She applied the relaxer in sections like she normally does. We were going to go 21 minutes. She's actually trying to work me up to 23 minutes for processing, which is where she has another client of hers who has similar type of hair that I do, and she thinks that that's probably where I need to be. I can't disagree with her about it because I do feel like my hair on this bottom half of my head is definitely under-processed, and I think that's a combination of we were doing a lower amount of processing time, which was totally fine, but then I don't know if you know this, but your hair does revert about 20% after a relaxer touch-up. So I was having like not making my hair as straight, and it was reverting slightly. And then I had the protein overload issue, which too much protein on your hair, I found out from another hairdresser that's in some Facebook groups that I'm in. It can cause some reversion for your hair. So I have like now slightly under-processed hair on my ends. And so some of the things that we're doing is, making sure up here is processed to the texture and straightness that I want, but then also going in every other appointment and correcting the hair down below, but also going to be cutting it away during those appointments as well. So I didn't get a correction this time around because I got one last time. We're going to go in and do the correction next time around, and then do some cutting as well. And when she does a correction, she does it on my wet hair where my hair is wet after she's washed the relaxer out, and then goes and takes relaxer on her gloved hands and works it through my hair. And it's, I think, a better way to do it. I wouldn't do it myself, but I think it's a good way for a stylist to do it personally without me being a stylist and being a professional. So anyway, she applied it. Like I said, we were going for 21 minutes. It ended up processing less amount of time. We're not sure why. Some of the things we thought about is just the mask is raising my body temperature potentially, which I personally feel like when I wear a mask for a decent amount of time, I start to feel warm. I don't know if it's all in my head, but, you know, I said that could be potentially it. She mentioned maybe that my hair is just so moisturized that maybe the moisture is having something to do with it. It's like, I don't know, who knows? Some things that I thought of afterwards is that my hair might not have a lot of protein on it. So it's more porous and it's soaking up the relaxer easier. Also could be I don't have as much product buildup on my hair because I've really been making sure I'm using a good clarifying shampoo the week prior. So we don't know, but we're going to keep an eye on it to see if, you know, my hair continues to do this. If so, we won't be going to 23 minutes. We'll probably be staying around 20-21 for my processing time. But anywho, so this is how my hair is looking. This is the day after my touch-up. I did moisturize and stay last night. I did Baggy as well. I typically would Baggy like the night after I would get my hair washed, so that's nothing new or different. I feel like my hair feels pretty good. I'm still not completely happy with my ends, but I think that will happen over time as we continue to deal with the under-processed hair and then also snip some of this damaged and under-processed hair away as well. And hopefully at some point I will get to the point where I will have hair that is like all one length and then, or at least close enough to all one length so that I can get it to cut so that it's a decent cut and looks okay. I mean, it looks okay right now, but I don't feel that it looks okay. Just because I know of all of the mess that is sitting here and all the various different weird layers. Going forward with my hair, I plan to go at least 11 or 12 weeks for my next stretch. I haven't scheduled my next appointment yet. That'll happen sometime, probably in the next 5 or so weeks I'll schedule it. But I plan to go at least 11, 12 weeks. I'm going to continue focusing on moisture, incorporating some protein back into my hair regimen, and doing all the things that were working for me this last stretch, making sure I'm incorporating them in this stretch going forward so that my hair will continue to grow, continue to have some length retention, and it'll be ready for my next touch-up. So that is my relaxer touch-up recap and hair update. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, anything about my hair, the products I'm using, go ahead and leave some comments down below. I will be linking below some of the videos that I talked about for some of the things that I've been doing with my hair. I'll also share with you a link to where you can see my current hair regimen and the products that I use in case you're curious. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and please feel free to share it on your social channels. And also, as I mentioned earlier, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Would love you even more if you go ahead and do it. I mean, I love you now, but I'll love you even more if you go ahead and subscribe. And I think that's it. So I will see you in my next video.